just off the bat of these drafts, it's just wow.
Yes, support Centaur coming out as well. I think TNC ran this once, a support
Yeah, I
Centaur. I
think
feel
they'd
like we've
have.
seen this.
Yeah,
Still makes sense
just
though,
slipped
right?
my mind. I mean, it makes sense enough. You do have a lot of ways of setting up for the scent. The scent doesn't really need to rush a blink, although you'd probably still want it. It's still kind of interesting, and you know, I have, I'm just interested to see what both teams do. Obviously, the draft from Ehome is just a bit more collected in that sense, whereas TNC's is definitely a bit scattered. And Mike, I'm not sure if it's just me, but I do not see their proper names.
Yeah, I don't know why this has happened again. No, luckily for eHome, yeah, their proper names aren't there for some reason. Y is there, Faith Beyond's there. Invoker has completely changed into like the pub name, which is kind of annoying, but I believe that will be, if I remember correctly, is that Ego? It is Ego, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, it should be Ego.
I'll just double check just in case because we don't want to look stupid, John. It is. Well, you know what? Even the damn Liquipedia doesn't tell us the right answer, which is nice. Um, so I believe if I remember correctly, it is ASD. No, it might be ASD in the mid lane. It might be Ego on the safe lane, but it's hard to tell now.
I swear to goodness, Ego is their. Yeah, you know what? You might be right. Yeah, we'll find out soon enough, Mike. We'll find out soon enough.
Yeah. On the brighter side, it's only two plays we get confused with because, of course, the position 4 is always in Chinese, so we have no idea what that says. I know his
It's fair enough.
name's I know his name's Jiang An, so that's nice, but
Yeah,
that's not his in-game name. So
yeah.
anyway, it's fine.
Looks like the runes will be grabbed up by TNC. They do get 4 bounties for themselves to start off with, so already off to a good start for TNC. It looks like Cuckoo will be on the bot lane with Lina, and they will run top lane with Gabby's Void.
It's interesting. I guess. I mean, against that Enigma, we talked about it already. It wasn't going to be an easy time for him. I guess that is his preferred matchup rather than having to go against the Gyrocopter. But that doesn't make much sense because the Rocket Barrage doesn't bother you at all if you're the Void. You just time walk all that damage off. I'm sure they're going to go for a switch here, and it looks like they are. Gabby is running down bot lane. They're definitely going to want the off lane to be up against that Enigma, so Cuckoo will move his way up. Yeah, that makes much more sense.
Yeah, it definitely does. So at the very least, you aren't gonna lose out too much XP. Although, you've pretty much missed the creep wave at this point, which is gonna be rough, but at the very least you can TP in if they swap lanes by TP again. So, you'll have that TP advantage to keep the lanes as they are. Looks like a early rotation coming out from our Rubik.
Yeah, Armel may be in a bit of trouble, but they won't even go for the lift. It's just a bit of right-click harassment. There's the lift in, just to slow down the creep wave. But that kind of helps Armel a bit. It's like, oh, okay, well, thank you for the creep equilibrium. I guess I'll take it.
Yeah, that does help him out a bit. Again, that stun just held the creeps in place long enough that probably wouldn't be too unhappy with Rubik coming in for what seems to be no reason, really. I have to say this rotation is probably not going to achieve too much. At the very least, I guess they want to give Fate Beyond fast levels up top, so they want to lane solo for him. And he is leveling fast. He's level 3 now compared to Cuckoo's level 1 Lina. So he's having a good time up top.
He certainly is. Faith Beyond, the classic. I told you, John, we talked about it in draft days. This is what he does to people. Look at him, 10 denies right now on this Enigma. 10 denies. We're 2 minutes in.
Yeah, it's a rough time to... It's always rough laning against an Enigma, and it's even rougher when it's Fate Beyond on it. He's just done so much work, again, denying the creep wave, controlling the creeps, controlling the equilibrium quite well, and, it looks like Cuckoo is in a spot of trouble.
Yeah, they're going to dive in. The lift is there as well. With those Eidolons, it should just be enough. The Hoof Stomp comes out from Tim's, but it will not help out. Faith Beyond, very nice first blood for him. Of course, the rotation coming in from that Rubik will make it work. That's what you got to be afraid of. Sunstrike as well. Mid lane, it was only on Armel. Looks like it was just for the range creep, but he does end up missing it. And it does get denied. So, we haven't talked about the lane matchup yet in the mid lane. But Armel versus this Invoker, who I believe is ASD. Actually
Oh.
getting dived right now. Armel might just keep going. He's got the thirst, he's got the salve, he does use it, and ASD, he will end up falling. I was about to ask who it favors, but hold that thought, because now Faith Beyond top lane's in trouble. Tims is after him, gets the double edge, will find the kill. Cuckoo just trying to make a run for it. He does get the stun off, and now the follow-up hoof stomp. They might find a double here with the double edge. And it looks like they will. Cuckoo picks that one up for himself. And so they turn this off lane around a bit for the side of TNC.
Yeah, it's getting a bit messy up top. Pretty much bloodbath. They have given away 2 kills. Of course, that will make Cuckoo pretty happy. And he does catch up a bit in XP. He's not too far behind Enigma now. Gap has kind of closed despite the denies, which is really what you want to see in this lane. Just trying to draw even again with his Fate Beyond. Enigma is really hard because of all the denies, but Cuckoo's not having a bad time of it.
Yeah, mind you, we keep talking about how many denies he has, but you look at the mid lane as well. Excuse me, not Miracle, Armel. He does actually have 14 denies himself, so he's really making ASD on that Invoker suffer quite a lot. Currently at level 4 on that Invoker, whereas you look at Mel, he's at level 5 now. So a full level ahead. And of course, in terms of farm, we're looking at an 18 last hits in comparison to the 10 of ASD. Like, it is not a great start for an Invoker.
Yeah, it definitely isn't. He's having a pretty rough time here. Which is, you know, Invoker does have pretty weak levels, and Bloodseeker hits quite hard, so if Armel just mans up and goes up and right-clicks, which he has been doing, the Invoker can get zoned out quite well. You do have really great sustain with Blood Rage as well, so you can just stay and trade clicks with the Invoker quite well. And he has been. I mean, it's been a rough time for this Invoker. They have constantly rotated Rubik in to no effect, I have to say.
Yeah, I mean, Y keeps walking into this lane. But it goes back to what we talked about in the draft stage as well, right? Like, this Rubik is not great early game. He's just not the support you want. And obviously they picked him up to try and go up against the draft that TNC has drafted, but in the early stages of the game, he's kind of useless. Like, he found one pickoff with Faith Beyond, but that's all he's going to find for a while, it seems. And now the Rupture comes in. He may be able to save ASD, though Chaos Meteor, they might find Armel now. The lift, he runs back in. He wants to go for that last hit with the Blood Rage. He'll be alright. Meanwhile, ASD falling low. The Sunstrike will barely miss. Ninja Boogie will help out and find the kill onto ASD on that Invoker. And TNC, they find the better of that trade. And now Armel just going to use that Blood Rage with the Tango. He'll heal himself back up all the way to full HP, I'm sure.
Yeah, that's again, the strength of Bloodseeker is that you can stay in lane, no matter how low you get, for the most part, because you have such great sustain with Blood Rage, so he just heals up after being so low.
Yeah, they do rotate top, though. ASD after that death says, screw it, I'm going top. Sunstrike is there, will connect as well. They will get Tims and Cuckoo in that off lane. Faith Beyond that whole time, so close to dying, but he does eat a Tango and manage to heal himself up just enough to be able to survive through them. Now bot lane as well. Nightmare is there onto Ego on that Gyrocopter. They will jump in with the hoof stomp from the Centaur, and Tim's trying to set up a kill for his team. It's a nice one as well, but they need that IO dead. And it looks like they won't be able to find it. The heals were just enough in conjunction with that overcharge. They will go for a smoke up now. They're going to try and find them before they get to the shrine. Can they get the Nightmare off? No, they'll move to the mid lane. Top lane as well. Cuckoo actually about to fall. Looks like he's going to make a run for it, though. Mid lane, Rupture is there on Faith Beyond. Now the Hoof Stomp set up with the Nightmare. Can he find it? It looks like it should just be a very easy pick-off, and they can get it, though. Cuckoo, top lane, will also end up falling. He will lose his life to Y on that Rubik.
Dire's middle tower has fallen.
Really active game right now, 5-4, 7 minutes in. 2k net worth lead for TNC, so a nice early start for them. But man, these guys are just not relenting. They really want to shut each other down early on. I think it's much more pertinent for... Actually, it's really hard to say again, even from the draft screen, right? Both teams are just kind of equally strong with their timing, so I guess they just feel like they should just constantly try to shut each other down. Because they both kind of peak at the same time. Both of them have kind of the same late game potential as well. So I guess that is why we're seeing such an active game. Just Just the fact that they want to secure as good of a start as possible, because otherwise, going into the late game, they're pretty even.
They certainly are. It's really hard to tell who's ahead right now. Like, they're 2k in front for the side of TNC, but that seems only temporary, because you know when this Gyrocopter and the IO, they go into the jungle with that flat cannon, they just start farming so damn fast. And they're going to start now as well. So I imagine this 2k net worth lead will end up dropping quite significantly for TNC very, very soon. Unless, of course, they can keep up the aggression. But it looks like they'll probably just farm up for now. Though, is it that bot lane? Looks like they do want to go for something. Chrono is now up as well, so expect a rotation coming out from Gabby very soon. But for the moment, the T1 tower will be the target, though Y is there with the Fade Bolt. So we do have the, seemingly the calm before the storm.
Yeah, they do have that Chronosphere, as you mentioned, force a team fight if they want. Doesn't look like they're going to be in position, so Ninja Boogie just dropping some deep wards, maybe playing some tag with a couple of heroes, maybe Fate Beyond, but really nothing happening too much. I think all that TNC wants to do is really take this tower out. Once it's out, maybe they can start invading that jungle a bit easier. I have an easier time approaching that area where Gyrocopter is farming up.
A bit of a loss coming out though from the Bane. We do see the wards being planted and Faith Beyond. He had the Eidolons there, so he actually scouted that out. So I imagine we'll see a D-ward for that soon though. T1 tower is still under siege by the side of TNC. Black Hole is available on Faith Beyond, and in fact it looks like they may find the Bane now. Sunstrike will not connect though. Call down will, but the Stampede will allow it, so he just walks out of there. And Armel, he's still hitting up on that T1, though they do get the deny off. He didn't want to stick around for that last hit, and it does give enough space for Ego to just take it out by himself. And now Gabby will snag himself a bounty rune, and in fact it looks like TNC might find themselves 4 bounty runes at the 10-minute mark.
Yeah, that means they've grabbed all the bounty runes twice over. Once at the start of the game. Once again now, I'm not sure if they grabbed it 5-minute mark. It was quite, it was a bit too busy with all the kills, but securing all these bounty runes again does give TNC a very, very nice gold injection, and you can see that at play already. Most of their cores are above Ehome right now, especially Armel in this Bloodseeker. He's very far ahead at 4.8k, way beyond even the Gyrocopter at 3.2, so TNC is having a good time with their cores, and the bounty runes just kind of secure that a bit more. Help out their supports who do want farm, like, say, Tim's.
Oh, relocate going, but the Chrono! Mid lane, he wanted to catch him out, but they were relocating, and he doesn't get it off in time. Cuckoo will go down top lane thanks to that relocate. They're going to wait around to see if they can find him. But Gabby, I don't think he has the damage for this. They will get the Fiend's Grip off onto ASD. In fact, Ego, now the Fiend's Grip is returned. Y actually stole it on that Rubik. What a disastrous start to that rotation for the side of TNC. John, he didn't know it was being channeled, I don't think. And by the time he threw the Chrono out, it was too late.
Yeah, that's definitely a rough one. If you were going to go for that Chrono, you have to use it, in a snap. You can't really just wait around like that. They did have Ninja Boogie around, again, waiting for that relocate to come back in. Instead, they just end up giving away Fiend's Grip, so it's a bit of a rough spot for TNC. Very nice pickoffs for Ehome. They managed to, get Cuckoo at top lane. They make their first relocate gank quite successful. They should be very happy. The net worth is now much more even compared to a while ago.
Yeah, now they're going to go for a smoke as well on the side of Ehome. They want Gabby in that mid lane. They're going to get that lift off. The Black Hole is also available, and they will commit it immediately. Sunstrike comes in. It's well worth it. Just get rid of Gabby. Make sure he can't farm on that Void. And, well, if he can't farm on the Void, John, it's going to be a very hard game for TNC. Because we know very well, like this Bloodseeker, Mel, he's doing a fantastic job, but he will eventually drop off.
Yeah, there is a certain time until Bloodseeker. There's only so much you can do. Into that late game, I guess it's no Invoker, It's not like you stay relevant all the time. Your tools are still useful. Blood Rage is always useful. Again, you're probably going to be amping up that Gabby's Faceless Void, but they do trap the IO down.
Yeah, going to be a very easy pick off. Some nice body blocks coming out from Tim's, but That was just the Nightmare into the Hoof Stomp combo. And you saw Ego on that gyrocopter just walks away. Just be like, no, I can't do anything about this. Let me just get the hell out of here and get back to farming. And that is exactly what he will do. So at 6-7 now, net worth lead remains the way of TNC by about 3k. But again, most of that is on our mill. He does end up picking up a blade mail now. So we'll have to keep an eye out to see what he can get done in this Bloodseeker. But, you know, again, there is a timing. Unless he does get 6-slotted super fast, he does have to make his impact in the mid-game.
Yeah, he definitely does. I'd say this build-up's pretty good. Blade mail to BKB, nothing too special, but at the same time, it is what they need for this game, so it should help out having that BKB in the middle of the team fights.
Looks like they are trying to find the Gyro IO combo, but Ego will go straight to that mid lane instead. The tier 2 top tower looks like it will be under siege. Tims is actually still looking through the tree line, trying to find somebody standing there, but nobody is. But at the very least, TNC, they're going to find a nice tower out of this. And so kills are going, you know, the way of Ehome just barely. But if you look at the objectives, TNC, they've already got 4 after this tier 2 top tower. So they're doing very well, though. Bot lane, looks like they will end up catching Y on that Rubik. And he will end up falling, and now a Stampede mid lane. The Chrono is there onto 2 heroes, and now the Rupture as well. Straight on the Gyro. Ego's trying to go for a TP attempt. He will not make it out in time. He will end up going down very, very easily. And again, TNC, a great rotation. 9-7 now. That net worth lead only going to keep climbing for them.
Yeah, it's definitely just going to go up from here. They do get Ninja Bogey at bot lane, but again, that's not really a... It's not going to worry TNC too much. Again, that's just Ninja Bogey, pos 5 Bane. Doesn't really matter too much if he dies. At the very least, he's keeping Fate Beyond busy at that bot lane, just letting him maybe slowing down his push just a tad. But looks like he might be able to get some decent chip damage on that tier 2. I say decent. It's really dropping fast, down to... It might actually just go down.
Yeah, the Eidolons. Not going to quite get there. They're going to run out, and there will be Cuckoo to defend. In fact, he takes all the gold before they do expire. But yeah, that is some significant damage coming out to the tier 2 tower. And that was actually the first tier 1 of the game going down thanks to Faith Beyond on that Enigma. At least for the side of Ehome. So we'll see how much more objectives they can get. But again, they are relatively behind in those objectives. And that net worth slowly climbing up. TNC now 4k net worth lead at the 15-minute mark.
Yeah, they are definitely finding everything they want. Again, I feel like Ehome has to play around with her Relicate a bit more. It is a pretty long cooldown at level 1. Maybe you should be a bit more active with it. Try to shut down that Void when his Chronosphere is down. You should definitely play around.
They're going to try and go on Armel. Top lane, he does throw the Blade Mail up. The lift is there into the cooldown, though. He's copying way too much damage, but that Stampede comes in clutch. Now Ninja Boogie comes in. Brain Sap is there. Nightmare, he will get him. The Gyro is trapped up. Laguna Blade. After the Light Strike Array, Cuckoo takes him down, and now Y trying to go for the TP. He actually dodges very nicely, and he will manage to get out in time, but they waste quite a lot on the side of Ehome, and they still end up as well losing their position 1 Gyrocopter. Not the greatest of news for Ehome.
Yeah, it definitely isn't. I was mentioning earlier on, you want to be active with a Gyro IO, not just farming all game. Sure, you kind of win that late game, but you have Fate Beyond kind of doing that same thing, applying pressure in lane. If he's going to be doing that, you should probably try to keep him, you know, unpressured so he can push towers fast, or have him cop the pressure from pushing tower and you guys farm. You can't, you can't just be kind of laid back like this. Maybe really just opt for Relicate ganking someone you can see. You do have pretty good wards in your jungle.
Oh, another tier 2 top tower going down. Armel really making a lot of work happen on this Bloodseeker. Still at the top of the net worth board. I mean, he has not dropped ever since this game started. 2-0 right now, 4 assists on him. And with that BKB, man, it's going to be hard to deal with him throughout this mid game. Like, this is way too quick of a timing on this Bloodseeker.
Yeah, he's finding everything he wants. There is a defense for mid, but Tims will just back off. And, you know, I want to talk about Tims as well. He is almost at his Blink Dagger, which means even more initiation for TNC. Whereas right now, you still have Fate Beyond trying to work on his Blink, about 1,000 gold away compared to Tims, who's just like 200 away. It's going to be a rough time again. TNC is finding the timings they want, even on their supports. So they should be able to carry this momentum a bit later on into the game.
Mind you, this is standard for Faith Beyond, though. Like, we talked about it before the game even started, John, but he generally does go for those team fighting items before he goes for the blink. Though I do agree with you that it may be necessary for him to grab that blink early to try and really counter these team fights that are coming in from TNC. And, well, it looks like they're going to go for a smoke. Still no blink available on Faith Beyond, but they're going to try and get started anyway. I guess they don't really need it if they can get the lift off with the Rubik. And who have they found? It is only going to be Ninja Boogie on that Bane. They will find the kill regardless, though. And the Brain Sap appears to have been stolen by the Y Rubik.
Yeah, again, TNC doesn't mind too much. Maybe the Brain Sap will make ganking that Rubik pretty hard. Again, that's a pretty good amount to sustain. But you just lose Ninja Bogey. You buy space for your cores. They're farming quite well. Even Tim's has his blink now working on an Ags. And when that Ags comes out, it will be so much harder to kill them when they have Stampede up. It's already pretty hard to kill these heroes. They are fairly tanky for the most part. And once that Ags is up, the damage reduction is just going to cause a few issues for Ehome.
Yeah. On the brighter side, though, you look to ASD on that Invoker. He does pick up the Aghanim Scepter now. So he has been farming most of the game. But look at this mid lane. Chrono is up and they smoke right behind that tier 2 tower. Now Tim's, he will jump onto Y straight away though. Chaos Meteor comes in, but the Chrono, he catches both of them. And now can they get the Fiend's Grip off? They don't even need it. The Invoker's down. Faith Beyond, he's still holding onto the Black Hole. Doesn't know when to use it, and now he gets it. He'll grab 2 of them, but is it going to be enough? It looks like they are still dealing a lot of damage from TNC and Tim's. He stops the backlines from the Invoker buyback, though they will find Tim's, but now Cuckoo, he finds the dieback on Invoker. Tim's is still out of there, and it looks like the Void Gabby going to continue the chase. Gyro trying to make a run for it, but it's all TNC in this engagement, though they have already found 3, including 4 if you count the buyback from the Invoker. They only end up losing Ninja Boogie. They'll find the bounty runes as well, though. Nice Stomp comes in from Faith Beyond's dominated creep, but now they get the Hoof Stomp off onto that Gyrocopter, the double Light Strike Array as well, and they might find both the Gyro and the Io in this, though the Rubik will be there to help out. Fade Bolt is there as well, and it looks like it'll all be over. They will just shrine up, but what a great engagement from TNC.
Yeah, it definitely is. It comes down to the fact that Tim's has that blink. They don't need to start with a Chronosphere anymore, when Tim's can just blink in, get the stun off, burst someone down, or at least drop him very low and throw chaos into the team fight. Have Gabby come in when they're responding to Tim's, and suddenly you have a very easy setup for 2-3 people in the Chronosphere.
Well, they may have found Cuckoo. Light Strike Array was there. He dodged the homing missile, but now that Rocket Barrage, but they get the Fiend's Grip off. Tim's, well, excuse me, Ninja Boogie does end up finding the trade. It looks like Armel was there as well to help out. And well, Armel, he's still at that top of the net worth board. He's closely followed now by Gabby, but 11.5k on Armel on this Bloodseeker. That BKB already up, and he's going straight into a Radiance next, John. I don't know how you stop this man anymore. In fact, hold that thought. Mid lane, Tim's. He's been caught out by that Tornado. Sunstrike as well into the lift. They should be able to burst him down, but now the Stampede. Oh, the Nightmare. He took it off too early, John. Ninja Boogie, he tried, but now the Roshan as well is being taken by the side of TNC. They're trying to sneak this, while the side of Ehome have no idea what's going on.
There are no wards watching that area of the map from Ehome, so they aren't aware that TNC is doing this. I think they feel very comfy with killing off that Centaur. So comfy that they probably won't check Roche, which looks like it is the case. I'm not sure if they're going to Sunstrike, but it is a possibility now. Roshan is taken. Free Roche for TNC, which just makes it that much harder. It is on Armel once again. And, you know, you're already having issues trying to drop this guy low. When he has that Aegis, he's just going to drop low and still right-click you really hard. Not caring. He does have that BKB as well for when he comes back up. So it's just that much harder for Ehome to find these pickoffs that they need.
Ehome, they're still trying to farm up on that Gyro. They're trying to farm up as well on that Invoker. But again, you look at Ninja Boogie, he's really trying to find some pickoffs with that Nightmare. Armel is there as well. And even Gabby, he has the Chrono up. They'll take another tier 2 mid tower. And that'll be it. Ninja Boogie backs off. Gabby thought about running into the enemy jungle, but it looks like he may go towards that bot lane. They will be able to find Y on that Rubik if they really want it. He's just standing around trying to decide where to go, and it looks like they'll miss him anyway. And even Faith Beyond right now, he's got that blink up, so now he has the counter initiation and the initiation for that matter. But he hides in the tree line, a bit afraid that they were looking for him. And to be truthful, they kind of were. So a very nice little smart play coming out from Faith to just hide in that tree.
Yeah, definitely so. Probably not in the position for a team fight just yet. 3 of the heroes are up top. They can TP in and relocate in. But I'm not sure if it's worthwhile defending for this tier 2 at this point in the game. 23 minutes into it, it's very hard to say that. But they will just give it for free. Because again, they probably want to hold off for the high ground defense now. Because it's just way too rough to try to fight these guys at this point.
Oh, absolutely. You're looking at the peak of this Bloodseeker right now as well. And I say peak, but he's about to pick up a Radiance in a few minutes. And Armel, he's farming like an absolute god right now. Almost 14k. We will have a pause coming out. John, I'm not sure what TS means.
That's probably TeamSpeak, Mr. Mike.
Ah, of course. TeamSpeak. You know, John, I do hate TeamSpeak. I've had to use TeamSpeak the past couple of days. It's so ancient. It's such an ancient piece of technology. Just use Discord, damn it. It works better.
I mean, I appreciate TeamSpeak for what it was. I just don't use it anymore. I have a couple of friends who keep telling me to go on TeamSpeak. I'm like, I can't really be bothered. It's just the audio quality is not that great for the most part on most servers. But yeah,
I didn't ask for an analysis on TeamSpeak. Jesus Christ, we don't even know if they're sponsoring the tournament. My goodness, probably not.
Relocate coming in.
Relocate bot lane. They have the black hole. They'll commit it just for Cuckoo, but they need the kill. Fair enough. I don't know if it was quite necessary to go for that black hole, but I feel like Ehome, with the position they're in right now, they're 9k net worth behind. And you saw they get a lot of gold out of that kill. They almost get over 1k in terms of net worth change. So fair enough, and now they're bot lane. They are going into a team fight. They're trying to burst down Tim's on that Centaur. The Fiend's Grip was there on the Rubik, and he's making some funky moves right now. Tim's is still alive throughout all this. Sunstrike, it will come down. It will hit Ninja Boogie, and they'll find another 2. In fact, Armel, he's lost his Aegis. He needs to get the hell out of there. He BKB's up, but they're dealing a hell of a damage, and now the Chrono, it will come out. He hits both of them. The Armel is already gone. He only gets the IO through this, and he's trapped in the tree line. He's been silenced up because of that Mask of Madness. They'll make the chase again. Gabby, the Tornado, is on point. It hits him. The lift is there as well. And they stole the Chrono on Y on that Rubik.
that was a full team wipe almost. Like you do have Cuckoo who respawns now, but that was all 5 heroes dying over a period of time. That was 4k swinging back the way of Ehome. That's really not the trade you want.
On the brighter side, Cuckoo, he ends up finding that Rubik. So now you get rid of that Chronosphere that he did end up stealing. So at the very least, you don't have to worry about that anymore. The fact that it may come out against you. So nice little pickup from Cuckoo. But that will make it an 18-18. And John, that net worth lead suddenly down to around 4k. Certainly a big loss from TNC.
Yeah, it swung back about 4k again from the last time I checked. Like, I was just staring at it. 8k to 4k in the span of one team fight almost. Oh, that's rough. I feel like if it had to come down to something that came down to Gabby not TPing down early, like he was just walking around the jungle up top. If he was down in that bot jungle a bit earlier on with that Chronosphere, they might have been able to turn quite well because everyone dropped quite low from Ehome. It's just that it was kind of disorganized from TNC. They have to watch out, stay on point because, again, Armel will taper off in maybe about 15 minutes or so.
Cuckoo. Gonna be thanking his lucky stars, John. He was in a very awkward position. There was a sentry ward right there by the Dire, where they're farming right now, and it ends up expiring just in time. Otherwise, I feel like Cuckoo just guarantees dies there. But I wanted to ask you about an item build that Ehome are going for. They've got 2 mechs right now. Faith Beyond has one. The IO has one. I found that a bit strange.
I think it's fine. I think it's fine. Again, it comes down to the way Fate Beyond is playing. He is not sticking with his team. He has been split pushing lanes. And if he's going to do that, he's going to need his own mech to heal his creeps up. So him having his own mech is really not too bad. I think it works out well for what Ehome has been doing. And it should help Fate Beyond maintain his aggressive split pushing.
Absolutely. Now that you put it that way, it does make a lot more sense. Looks like TNC, they will go and pick up an early gem on Tim's, and he'll start dewarding around the map. So they want to try and re-establish that map control. So you look to the gyrocopter now. BKB Maelstrom is up, and he's going straight into that butterfly next. And this is that point where that gyrocopter starts hitting very, very hard. I feel like these team fights, they got a hell of a lot harder now for the side of TNC as well.
Definitely so. You do have to have pretty good initiation at this point.
Radiant
They do have the Shadow Blade on Gabby. Maybe they can catch someone out here at the tier 3. Probably not. Again, I feel like as this game slows down, it gets harder and harder for TNC. Sure, they were ahead. They lost one big team fight. Ehome suddenly back in the game on nearly equal footing. And you're starting to lose your timer. Again, Armel will start to taper off. He does have that BKB and the Radiance up now, but he only has so much more. He only has so much longer until he starts to really start pale in comparison to the Invoker, to the Gyrocopter, and Fate Beyond's Enigma even.
Well, they're going to go for a gank mid lane. Chrono is up. He's in that Shadow Blade right now. He's just waiting to see who's in the backlines, but the Spirits don't know he's there. Chrono is only on Io, and now it's been stolen as well. They've got it on Y on that Rubik. It looks like the Io will actually survive thanks to that double mech, and now the Chrono comes in with the Cataclysm. They'll burst down Armel and Ehome. I mean, TNC, John, they just got played. They just got played so damn hard. Gabby's still up at the top lane. He needs a time lapse and time walk, and he will, but that tornado barely misses. Black hole. Faith Beyond, a bit late with that Midnight Pulse. But man, that was a beautiful Chrono still coming up from Y again. And look at that, the tips come out to Faith Beyond.
It comes down to TNC having to play a bit more coordinated. Again, it feels a bit clumsy coming from their part. Gabby just taking a jump in. His team kind of scattered around him, not quite close enough to really commit. And, you know, it's just really hard. He has to go for a two-man Chronosphere at this point in the game. You can't really justify one person anymore. Well, I mean, you probably could if you're not going to be taking any team fights soon. I just don't think if you're going to do that, you just catch one with everyone else surrounding him. It's not a good idea. If you're going to catch one, he better be alone just to secure you that kill. Because in that situation, again, the IO still lived through the Chronosphere, and they gave away a copy of Chronosphere to Y. So there, TNC is stuck in a pretty rough spot. They have to kill off that Rubik if they want to get back to the way it was. And I have no clue what's going on right now. I mean, Armel is basically farming up right now. He does not seem keen to take these fights. In fact, TNC does seem much less keen to take fights right now, which I feel like is a bit of a shame. Because again, as time ticks on, this Gyrocopter comes online. The Invoker starts to get even more annoying to deal with once he gets his 25 talents as well. You start losing charges on your BKB. So it just gets kind of harder for TNC. They hit their spike. Now it's going to start slowly peter out, and they have to, kind of play while they're strong.
Well, I've got to say, TNC, they may have made us like a bit of an unlucky situation for them. The Roshan just respawned. They didn't notice it, but they will go in. Double Hoof Stomp is there. Now the Chrono in the back lines, and why?
What?
We have a disconnection. It's fine. We have a disconnection. This is not tactical. A beautiful Chrono coming out though, John. They went in with the Double Hoof Stomp. Gabby knows he needs to catch out that Rubik. Is he actually caught out? I think he is. No, he's not caught. Oh, he's actually not. They've still got the Enigma and the Rubik that are able to get in there and help out. Though they won't be able to throw the black hole out from that range, I don't think. But look at that. The Chrono's already even there anyway. So he can just turn this one around. Oh, this could be dangerous for TNC. They need to be on guard with that Fiend's Grip for the Rubik and even Faith Beyond.
You have a Cuckoo in a very rough spot. This whole fight's happening right now. He is still so far behind. He's across the river right now, Mike. Right by the tier 1. I'm not sure if he's going to make it in time. And again, this pause will give some time for each team to react. I think this is going to work out a bit better for Ehome than it will for TNC. Because again, Fate Beyond is outside there. Rubik's outside with a Chronosphere. They should be able to do something here.
Well, they'll get started again. They're going after the IO. A lot of damage coming up. Their cooldown is there. Now the Cataclysm, though. They're all grouped up, and there's the Chrono coming out from Wise Rubik. They'll go in with the Black Hole onto Armel immediately. They'll take him down. TNC, they've lost 4. They'll buy back on Tim's, but it looks like the Lena's also gone. Cuckoo, he ends up falling. And they didn't even kill off the IO. In fact, they did, excuse me. He did buy back. They'll relocate straight down bot. They want the tier 2 tower. They might go to force some buybacks out from the side of TNC now. Oh, how the mighty have fallen, John. 6k net worth lead for the side of Ehome, and they're going to force these buybacks. In fact, look at Ego and ASD already trying to find some pickoffs. No buybacks coming out quite yet. The rest of Ehome, they will slowly make their way in. You've also got that gem now up on Faith Beyond. And they're really not going to buy back. Alacrity is there. It's a lot of damage though. Light Strike Array will delay it for a bit, but Gabby not interested. He doesn't have the Chrono in it anyway, so I guess it's pointless for him. And they'll just take the tier 3 and back off.
Yeah, again, off the back of a really messy team fight from TNC. Of course, they did have to jump in, but that unfortunate timing does mean that there was enough time to really plan out and react. They did have some way of at least seeing what to do next, and you know, that just works out the way of Ehome. Unfortunate enough for TNC, they do have to get something going for them. They're gonna have to wait for that Chronosphere and Void again, but you know, with so many threats now for TNC, just Rubik stealing that Chronosphere, you have the Black Hole from Fate Beyond, it gets really hard for you to force these fights with a Void. And again, Armel is tapering off now. Like, for sure right now, he's definitely not doing as much as he was a while ago. So you do have to, I mean, it just gets harder. Your high ground defense is going to be really hard to maintain as well. You don't have the Agnims on Tim's.
Well, they've scouted out the Roshan being taken. Faith Beyond is there. No Black Hole available. Chrono is. He'll get 2 in the backlines. The Armel copying so much damage. The Roshan getting low as well. It's about to fall, but Armel stole it. He's stolen off the gyro. They're trying to go after the Invoker. The Hoof Stomp does make it in time. Meanwhile, Gabby, he's in trouble again. He does end up falling. They'll go after the Gyrocopter now with that Nightmare. They will get away, TNC. It was their Roshan to take, but it wasn't the right time. Faith Beyond, he's going to find Tim's as well. And with that Ice Wall, he's got nowhere to go. Tornado goes out to the west side, or excuse me, east, just in case. Armel, he barely steals the Aegis off the Gyrocopter, who was finishing off that Roshan throughout that engagement. But in the end, Ehome still win out the team fight.
At the cost of a buyback Invoker. So, they did manage to somewhat win that team fight. But you do have to sacrifice the buyback in your Invoker. You do probably secure yourself a high ground push again. Gabby can't really defend while Chronosphere is down, so the buyback is kind of moot.
They'll go in for the Middle Rex. Oh, the Black Hole comes out straight onto Armel. They want this Bloodseeker gone. Nightmare was there, and it will not help. That's a dieback on him. In fact, they completely team wipe. I think it might be GG, John. There's a Chrono available in 5 seconds, but that may be their last shot. They're going to lose at least 2 Raxes here. But with no buybacks on 2 of your cores, I don't know how you defend this.
Yeah, it's going to be really hard again. You do need Armel there, because right now I feel like Gabby's not doing enough damage yet. He does not have buyback. In 1 minute, they're just, yeah, their mid lane's gone, their bot lane's gone. At the very least, their top lane still has tier 1, so you really can't do anything about that. That does keep TNC in the game right now. They are not playing against Mega Creeps just yet, but Ehome is now at his 16k advantage. Really rough spot for TNC. You have Armel, who's tapering off. You have Cuckoo, who has not had much of an impact this mid game anymore. Again, he has that Ewels, he has a Bloodstone with 6 charges now. He's way too far behind in the fights, like in that last engagement down mid, when that beautiful Chronosphere came out. He was still stuck across the river, so he has to keep pace with the rest of his team if they really want to take this game. Again, it's going into the point where TNC just peters out a bit more compared to Ehome, mainly because Armel just kind of loses relevancy and Cuckoo's not quite big enough to compensate. So it just gets harder from here for TNC. I think the next item to wait for on TNC is the Agnims on Tim's. That's going to be really crucial to boost your durability and help you take these team fights a bit better without getting bursted down so fast.
It does feel, I've got to say, John, looking at the farm of the cores on TNC right now, Like, you look at Armel, and like you said, he's farmed up very well throughout this game. But he drops off in the late game. Like, at this point, Armel, he still hits hard, but they're just dancing around him. Where the one man you do need to be farmed is Gabby right now, but he just hasn't farmed well. Like, he really hasn't in comparison to Armel. He's still 2k behind him. And now you look at the cores of the side of Ehome. They are so far ahead. Look at them. All over 20k in comparison to the 15 and 16ks that are coming out from the side of TNC.
It comes down to, again, that prioritization TNC had. They gave Armel a lot of that early farm, whereas everyone else was kind of busy trying to force fights. And when it finally came time for them to start farming, Ehome was ready to force the issue back at them. And it has not worked out well for TNC. There's forcing that issue out. So, I don't know. I think the itemization for Void, going for that Mjolnir, should be helpful. It's probably not the most damage you'd want to be pumping out. Not going to compensate all that much. I think the key item, again, will be that Aghanim's on Centaur. But it's going to be way too long for it. Still about 3k gold away for Tim's on that Centaur. And he is holding out for buyback as well, which will be off cooldown in about 2 minutes. So he's not going to have that option for the Ags anytime soon, which I feel like is really needed by TNC now.
Well, they've got the BKB Lincoln Sphere up on Faith Beyond as well. So now you can't even cancel that black hole. Like, no matter what you try, as long as he does use the BKB in time. Unless you Chrono, of course. The Chrono is the only thing that can cancel it throughout these engagements. You got the Aeon Disc up on the IO as well, so you Chrono the IO, but he's probably not going to die because of the Aeon Disc. TNC, they've got a really hard job ahead of them. We'll see if they can pull it off. It feels like there is a lot of damage lacking on Gabby right now, I've got to say. Like, every Chrono he hits, this IO still survives. And I guess you could also put it down to the fact that Faith Beyond, he has that secondary mech, which he keeps using every time the Chrono's there on the IO to keep him alive. Which actually kind of also is a nice little benefit of having that double mechanism. Is as long as you catch only one of them, he could just heal up the other. But
yeah,
anyway.
It's definitely helpful. Yeah. I think one thing you can also consider for this double mech is one hero can upgrade that, probably Fate Beyond, into Guardian Greaves, and one can keep the mech. Those two stack. They are separate instances, so you can stack the mech and the Guardian Greaves, which would be an insane amount of heal coming out for Ehome, but I don't think it even matters at this point. There's just no damage coming out from TNC anyway.
Well, they're going to try the tier 3 tower at the top lane. Nightmare is there. Again, a very, very hard fight. They're just trying to slow down the Gyrocopter, who now has a full Satanic up. Faith Beyond waiting. Tims will jump in. The Invoker is there with the Deafening Blast, and now they're still going after this Gyro, though. He has Satanic available, and he does commit it straight onto Tims. He goes with them with the right clicks, and Tims is dead. Mind you, he does have buyback, but they also got the Bane. Ninja Boogie died to the Black Hand, and now the IO is the actual target. They haven't taken him down, and now they do. And the stolen Chronosphere coming out. It is on Armel with the double Cataclysm, and the Black Hole comes out from Faith Beyond. They've caught all of them out, John. It's GG well played. TNC have lost game number 1. And Ehome, they come in as the underdogs. But my God, let me tell you, someone slipped something into their coffee this morning.